Hey, Sean here at Bright Outdoors. What I'm going to do today is a video on replacing the axle torsion arm on my Rogue trailer. So, little story, we'll look here behind it. What happened is the rear seal actually failed. You can see in there, spitting a lot of grease out and it's throwing it around the hub. So, here's the deal. This boat is a 2024 and the trailer has a 1-year warranty. The trailer, which is a Rogue trailer, is out of warranty. So what I happened to do is I ordered some parts online to replace the seal, which is relatively cheap. But I decided to reach out to Dexter. Dexter makes the axle of the Rogue trailer. And Dexter went ahead and I put in what happened, hey, the rear seal seemed to fail. This boat's like 2 years old. And they told me to send my address, a picture of the VIN of the trailer, and they sent a new replacement axle torsion arm. With the caveat I need to send the old one back. So, very impressed. That's a top-notch company to do something like that. I didn't even contact the dealer. Nothing bad about them, just letting you know the scenario. It never hurts to ask, and just, see, I was maybe expecting a rear seal or something, but, they sent me the whole torsion arm, which are kind of expensive. So super happy with that. A+ for Dexter. If you have a boat with the Dexter and it's within 5 years of their guarantee and you have an issue, I would contact the axle maker and just see. You never know. So anyway, what we're going to do is I'm going to throw that new one on. It should actually be really easy. I don't have to seat any bearings, and it's one bolt in the rear. The only caveat to this project is I need to get the splines. I need to get the pitch right on the axle arm. So what we'll do is we'll mark the old one, and I'll show you that, and then we'll pull it off. We'll put the new one on, torque it down to 150 foot-pounds, put the wheel on, should be good to go. This should be a pretty easy process, and we'll stay tuned and I'll show you, I'll take you along. Okay, we got the new axle arm in here, a torque wrench. So I'm gonna break these loose, and then I'm gonna raise up the boat, take the wheel off, and we'll get to working on the axle. Okay. Okay, we're loose. Gotta gently slip that off. So I'm just setting it on the secondary jack stand and keeping the jack tight. That way I have extra stability for when I'm torquing on it and hammering it and everything I need to do to get this thing off. Now that is essentially flat. So let me show you what's happening here. As you can see, the rear seal failed and it's just throwing grease everywhere. So we are gonna try to pop this bolt loose, pull this arm off, put a new one on. Should be good. Hopefully it's relatively straightforward. You just have to make sure I have a, well, would you look at that? Now that's a 32, that's a 30, so this will do it. I'm probably going to need quite a cheater bar though, I would think. We'll see. It's going to be... So I'm using different methods, liquid wrench, using the impact gun to just kind of try to break it loose, try to start
vibrating everything in there and breaking everything in there. I grabbed PB Blaster because it really just wasn't wanting to budge, and spray it all down. It penetrates pretty quickly. This is a relatively new trailer, so it doesn't need a whole lot. You could soak it overnight though. I ended up busting the torch out just to give it a little extra oomph. I want to try to create as much separation and changes in the different metals to try to break any rust loose. Whew. I think we got it. Okay, well, got some rust in there. We'll clean that up. Some corrosion. We're going to replace this. Now we got to get this thing off. Now it was significantly rusty, and that is what stopped that thing from wanting to move. So the liquid wrench, the heat, everything, the banging on it. Now I did have to just bash this thing side to side to get it loose. It was one side and another. I cut out a lot of it because it took quite a while. It took me about 10 minutes, back and forth, just working its way out. And that's kind of how you're going to have to do it. Maybe there's a better way to get it out. I tried a pry bar, didn't really work. I just PB blasted it. Those two pieces of metal are very rusted together. But overall, they looked pretty good once I got them out. And here I was thinking I would just vibrate it, but I could have grabbed something else. That didn't work. But that's another option. Just tapping it, creating breakage of that rust. What you can do is you can take like a sander and you can run that on it to try to create vibrations to break all that rust loose, but you know, I didn't bother. Okay, let's PB blast that. Get that all in there. My hope is heating it up, then it's going to suck that PB blaster in and try to create more destabilization of that rust connection. Again, we're just trying to break the connection between the two pieces of metal. It worked okay, and I could move it, but I have seen where things are so rusted together, you have to use a huge torch, get it red hot, and really work it. That would have been really difficult to do. Okay, got it off. As you can see,
Okay, so as you can see, rear main seal all busted up. Factory wants this back, Dexter wants this axle back. We're gonna clean that up a little bit, make that real nice, and put some lube on there, and then slap the new one on. Should go pretty quick now, but we'll see. All right.
I really just wanted to clean these splines up. There's two sections of splines, and just running these wire brushes through there to get any gunk out of there, any rust, and they look pretty good actually once you get them clean. Sometimes things get a surface rust on them, and you just need to really clean it up, get it lubricated, and yeah, I was able to slide the new one on pretty easily once I got all that gunk out of there. I debated on using aluminum anti-seize, and I decided not to. Just for the fact that I didn't want to have accelerated corrosion. Now, I may be kind of overreacting about that, but I'm a big believer in anti-seize, but I was a little worried about having aluminum as, next to steel and having it dunked in salt water, and I just don't want to have anything to increase corrosion, and it would end up working its way in there anyway, so I just went ahead and did it exactly how the factory would want it done.
Yeah, you don't want corrosion. Okay.
So right here what happened is I had set the hub back too far because there's two rows of splines and there's a channel in the middle where the bolt is supposed to rest. Now, so I just gently kind of worked it back out towards me, and then the bolt slid right in and it was no issue. They're designed pretty well, and it's pretty straightforward, but just something to keep in mind if you're doing this yourself. Just see by hand, I can just slap that in there, and then I'm going to run the nut down and washer and then nut. And the nut is a nylock, so you're good to go there. You don't need locking fluid or anything like that. And in the communication with Dexter Axles, they told me to torque it down to 150 foot-pounds, which I did, and we should be good to go after I get this torqued. There was a lot of grease on the inside of the wheel from the failed seal, and so I was just wiping that up and cleaning that. That way, if this one ends up failing, I'll see the fresh grease. I just want to kind of clean all that up and make sure that next time it happens, because I assume it will happen again, then I can see the fresh grease.
Don't touch the boat, okay? Because it's in the air, Claire.
I have a little one on the other side with me, and she wants to climb on the boat, but I am telling her to hold off until we get this thing on, this wheel back on. Don't want anything falling.
Okay.
And I'm going ahead and torquing these down to 90 foot-pounds. Okay, so we're all done. Replaced it. Now it does have a brake drum on it, a disc. And we don't have brakes on this trailer, but that's okay because all the tolerances are the same and everything's the same, distances and everything. So we just went ahead, torqued the main bolt of the torsion arm to 150 foot-pounds, and then I torqued the lug nuts down to 90 foot-pounds. And everything's good. Cleaned up the splines like you saw. I didn't put any anti-seize on it. I just don't want to have any accelerated corrosion by putting something like aluminum anti-seize, mixing the two, or copper for that matter. I do like using anti-seize, but I'm wary about doing it with marine stuff. So anyhow, it's real straightforward. I did use my torch just to kind of heat up and some liquid wrench and all that. You know, these things get dunked in the salt water quite a bit. So if this was a 10-year-old trailer, you might need some heavier duty torches and, you know, really work it, but you really gotta, you know, it might be a pain in the butt. A bigger breaker bar would have worked well. Obviously had to use an extended one, but generally it's a pretty easy procedure. Just kind of want to get the pitch right, which I had to pull it off and put it back on to get that right. But overall, it's all done now. We are all ready to go. I got a mess to clean up. But we are good to go now for probably a few more years, and then we'll have to replace the seal on it. But like I said, this was sent to me for free from Dexter. So awesome for them. And I'm going to send the old one back. They want to evaluate it. And yeah, we're good to go. So hey, if you like this stuff, please like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.